What's good, YouTube? It's Martinez, and today we're gonna get into the main reasons why everybody hates Jake Paul. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, go back and watch that. But if you like part 1, go ahead and leave a like on this video for me. But in this video, we're gonna play a little game, because some of Jake Paul's hate is definitely understandable, but some of it is definitely a reach. I'm gonna go through each one and at the end, say if that hate is justified or unjustified. Subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to monetization, so that will help out a ton. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Back in 2017, Jake uploaded a video with his assistant Meg, where she says she was in a club with FaZe Banks, the guy that's dating Jake's ex-girlfriend Alyssa Violet. And she says that FaZe Banks cheated on Alyssa in the club and assaulted Jake's assistant so bad that he left bruises on her neck.
Originally, it was just like an offline conversation, like no cameras involved. But when I heard what happened, I was so distraught. I was so disgusted that I needed to bring this situation to light, and I'll let Meg tell the story.
When I was leaving, he sort of clotheslined me and put their arm out in front of me and like dragged me by my neck.
Meg said that you like lost your breath.
Yeah, like he knocked the wind out of me and like he dragged me by my neck. And I looked up at him and I realized immediately that it was Banks.
These are some serious allegations, and FaZe Banks was asleep while this was happening. But after this video dropped, Ricegum woke him up and told him what was happening. He tweeted out, "Everything about this Jake Paul video is a lie. Making a response right now. These kids are so messed up for this." Alyssa Violet tweeted out, "The truth is gonna come out," and she insinuated that Jake hit her. Nick Crompton, a member of Team 10, clapped back on Twitter, showing messages between him and FaZe Banks from before they made the incident public. He asked Banks about the assault, and he asked him to apologize to Jake's assistant Meg. And Banks said, "Wait, what? Who even is that? Are you 100% sure that was me? I don't remember much, but I was definitely at Warwick. I'm a big guy and sometimes unaware of my surroundings. Obviously, if I did that, it was on accident. I almost got arrested and got into a fight." Nick went and posted these conversations, and it was looking bad for Banks. Banks' girl clapped back on Twitter saying Meg's bruises were fake, and Banks tweeted saying, "This is way beyond internet beef at this point. He's pursuing legal action." Jake went on H3's podcast and talked about these allegations, saying they were 100% real and he would never lie to his fans.
I would never lie to my fans. This happened. FaZe was there. He admitted to it on DMs.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was like, "I was definitely there, bro."
Yeah,
and he
drunk.
said he was drunk.
Yeah.
He said he got into a fight that night, and he said he lost his phone. So clearly he was being belligerent, and he said he doesn't remember anything. Yeah. The only thing that I really want to say, furthermore to the point, like it happened. The police are involved.
Banks' response to Nick Crompton came back to bite him, and Jake's argument was pretty convincing, but Banks posted his response while Jake was live on the podcast. They had a subscriber count up because he was about to hit 10 million, and after Banks uploaded the video, Jake started losing subscribers.
Appreciate the hustle. You earned that 10 million for sure.
Thank you, dude.
Congrats, dude.
I appreciate that.
So
now, YouTube, where's my plaque?
Yeah,
I need it.
You'll get it in a year.
They take it back though for cross because you're going back under now.
Oh no.
You're going back under. They'll take it back. Oh my God, dude. All right, I'm gonna remove this.
Yeah, no, remove
No,
it.
don't go back.
Now, Banks said a lot of things in his video. He said he had no idea who that girl is, and that Team 10 was purposely there trying to set him up. They kept buying him drinks, and Banks even claims that they drugged him so that he wouldn't remember what happened that night.
These kids actually did something to me. Like, I really, truly, in my heart, believe that these kids drugged me.
He says how crazy of a coincidence would it be that him and Jake are beefing, and somehow Team 10 randomly comes in the same club. But not only that, the one person he assaulted in the club just happens to be Jake Paul's assistant. He points out that in his DM conversation with Nick Crompton, Nick even says that Meg doesn't think he did it on purpose, but in this video, Meg just flipped.
He literally like dragged me by my neck. Like he knocked the wind out of me and like he dragged me by my neck.
He also texted all his friends that were there at the club last night. He was 10 deep and asked all of them if he kissed any girls or assaulted Meg, and they all said no. And he called a Warwick, the club that they were at, and asked if they were contacted by police because Jake claimed he made a police report.
And another strange thing is we called the nightclub Warwick, and we spoke to the manager, and when we started talking to her about this, she said that she didn't even know, like she had no idea. I'm like, "Were you contacted about Team 10 about this? You know, there was an alleged assault that happened in the nightclub." She goes, "No." I go, "Were you contacted by the police?" She said, "No."
Then Banks shot back at Jake's assault allegation, saying Jake can't be accusing anybody of assaulting women because he assaulted Alyssa.
Honestly, he did assault me a few times. If we never agreed on something or if something happened, he would spit in my face, and this has happened multiple times. Shove me all the way into the bush, and see this? I don't know if you guys can see. This scar right here were from thorns, and my entire arm was bleeding. My whole fucking hand. I had to dig out thorns. He was laughing the whole time.
It was looking downhill for Jake after this. The whole community was on Banks' side. Jake lost over 300,000 subscribers, while this sexual assault allegation made FaZe Banks gain 100,000 subscribers. Hashtag Jake Paul is over party was trending again. People dug into Meg's old tweets and found out she tweeted that she always mysteriously has 5 to 10 bruises. But Team 10 made one last effort. They went to the mainstream media.
We spoke with her via Skype.
It was frightening mainly because my air supply was cut off. You know, when you hit your trachea on something, it hurts really badly.
McPherson says she managed to escape his grip, but not after the attack left her black and blue.
You know, it's the bruise is pretty predominant.
McPherson has identified her alleged attacker as another social media star, FaZe Banks. McPherson is hoping to send a powerful message.
Everyone should feel okay going out to a nightclub and having fun with their friends. No girl or woman or anyone should feel like afraid to be somewhere.
And McPherson says she has filed a police report and is now letting LAPD handle her case.
Now, in people's minds, Banks was innocent, but this news report started giving people some doubt. Then the most incredible thing I've ever seen happen. This literally looks like a scene straight out of a movie. Remember when Banks said Team 10 tried to drug him? It's because in the club, there was a Team 10 member named Max who spent $4,000 on drinks for Banks. Keemstar tweeted at him, confused about why he was silent. If your friend got assaulted, you should support them. He was there. He should be backing up Jake's assistant. But after Keemstar tweeted us out, he took Team 10 out of his Twitter bio and started following FaZe Banks. Then he got caught by paparazzi leaving the Team 10 house with suitcases. FaZe Banks and Jake Paul were supposed to meet up to talk this whole thing out. But right before they were supposed to meet, Banks uploaded a video titled Proof I'm Innocent, interview with Team 10 member. After Max left Team 10, him and Banks did an interview where they rip apart every claim.
I have known this girl since I was like 13. This has been like 7+ years of friendship, which is what makes this so hard for me to do.
Yeah, I understand
like,
that.
When you can hear my voice cracking, like this has been like one of my best friends all of my life. The first thing that I want to make very clear is I did not see you kiss anybody that night. Second thing, I did not see you assault anybody that night.
This whole situation feels like a movie. Max really flipped on Meg after being friends with her for 7 years just to get the truth out. He was kicked out of Team 10, so he was jobless and homeless. But that was it for the situation. It had some time to die down, it got resolved behind the scenes, and we never really heard anything publicly about it. Until Jake did his documentary with Shane Dawson. Jake tells his side of the story. He's like, yo, imagine this. Your assistant, someone you're friends with, calls you on the phone and says she was assaulted. She's been working with you for a while. You think she has no reason to make this up. And her assaulter just happens to be the guy who's with your ex-girlfriend? The ex-girlfriend that tried to expose you? This was the space Jake was coming from.
Again, I had like no reason not to believe her.
You're not an actor. You're from Colorado. You're not an actor. I can see you're sort of getting emotional about this.
Like everything she was saying was like so vivid and real, and like to me there was no reason on like why she would have like made that story up. Like I feel so stupid even just like talking about this situation now, and like I handled it like the completely wrong way, and it's something that should have never been put online. So like I feel dumb like even trying to like explain like my justification for it.
He said out of all the controversies he's been in, this is the one he regrets the most. I understand where he's coming from with all of this. After that, he even fired Meg and cut her out of his life completely. But running to YouTube to make a video, not it. So I'm gonna have to say this hate against Jake Paul is justified. After the FaZe Banks controversy, Jake had to do some damage control. He looked like an asshole for the past year and wanted to change that. This was during Hurricane Harvey. So Jake actually did do some good. He went on jet skis and saved some people trapped in their houses. He donated money and gave food and water. It looked like his career was finally starting to switch gears. He was finally going to stop being the most hated on YouTube. He went a while without getting into drama. Yeah, he had his little controversies here and there, like getting kicked out the Dallas Cowboys football game or acting like a fool in Italy, but nothing major, until the situation with the Martinez twins. The Martinez twins were a set of Spanish twins they had living with them in the Team 10 house, and Jake picked them up straight from Spain, so they didn't speak much English. In September 2017, they moved out of the Team 10 house, then dropped a song called Fake Friends, basically talking shit about Jake and Team 10. This song wasn't really getting picked up and got no response. A month later, they dropped a video titled Why We Left Jake Paul's Team. This video was just a preview for their next one, so it didn't really get into any of the reasons why they left. So Jake Paul and Team 10 came back on Twitter talking about how they were backstabbed, how the Martinez twins were immature, and how all they needed to do was communicate. Then the Martinez twins came out with their big Jake Paul exposed video, basically saying Jake will bully them. They said Jake would only target them for the pranks. He would throw shit at them, handcuff them, punch them, do a bunch of shit, and he would do it off camera too. They said eventually they got tired of it and tried to move out, but then Jake called up a big ass meeting, screaming at them, telling them they couldn't move out because of the paparazzi outside the house. They said Nick gave them their own section of the house so they wouldn't be upset, but when they went to Spain to visit their parents, they saw their room completely destroyed on the vlog. They said this got them so mad that was the final straw.
When I was in Spain, I watched one of his videos. We found out that he destroyed our room.
Goodbye, Martinez room. It's every day, bro. Oh. Martinez, I'm home.
They also said Jake Paul would call them beaners, a racist term for Mexicans, and they weren't even Mexican. Jake didn't even have the decency to call them the right slur. He would call them Martinez, and they said Jake made them do this to each other.
And I know you guys saw this video, and I know you were like, this thing is weird. This thing is weird. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys right now.
I hate to side with Jake Paul, but at a certain point, take some accountability. How much can a person really force you to do? If someone told me to do that to my brother for millions of people to see, I'm not doing it. They was trying to act like they was some fucking child that had to listen to Jake's every word. But Jake made a response video where he actually apologized, which came as a shock to everyone.
And let me start off by saying, first of all, I'm so sorry to the Martinez twins. Nobody should ever feel bullied, but they never came to me or anyone and shared how they were feeling, which would have resolved the situation immediately.
So Jake took some responsibility for this. The whole thing left a huge stain on Jake's career, and it didn't really come up again until the Shane Dawson documentary a year later, where Nick Crompton said this.
They went to Home Depot.
We bought everything, we built it.
And we made them a fake room in the living room and then destroyed it.
You built it to destroy it, basically.
Yeah.
Woo, this is fun, man.
And if Jake had just said that, or if anyone had just said the pranks are fake, that would have debunked everything the Martinez twins were doing. And every time something happens, it's like we don't want to tell everyone that everything's fake. So we just keep taking these hits.
When you think about it, these pranks are pretty obviously fake, but in the Martinez twins video, they make them come off as real. Jake would literally ask them before he did any prank. Maybe the Martinez twins were getting pranked more than anyone else, but at the end of the day, these niggas ran to make an exposed video instead of literally just talking about the situation with Jake. They literally didn't even ask him to stop.
We were getting pranked every single day because we didn't say anything bad to him. Like, we were like, okay, yeah, fine. There's just like, but when you're like, fine, all the time, they can do whatever you want.
Obviously, if you agreeing they can do whatever they want, this nigga is asking you something, you agree, and then you get mad. These are grown-ass men and can't have a conversation. Jake Paul not a fucking monster. If you asked him to stop doing something, he would, but they just left. And they tried to go the Alyssa Violet route, move into the Cloud House and make a Jake Paul diss just like her. I feel like this was their end game the whole time. They just wanted to join Cloud Gang, which failed. But a lot of this information wasn't public until a year later. So once again, Jake Paul was the villain. But the hate he got from this was definitely unjustified. Early 2018, a clip of Jake Paul resurfaced. It was from Coachella 2015, but the video didn't come out until 3 years later. And in this video, he says the N-word multiple times.
Call that bitch a big truck, I whip it. Like my nigga Richie, he make the pussy so wet it gets wet. I be little ass nigga. I'm rocking Tommy hella bigger.
Not only did Jake say the N-word, but the song was trash too.
This shit is trash!
Now, Jake didn't say it maliciously or to a black person, but if you're a public figure, you gotta know better than that. But Jake Paul is literally immune to cancellation, and he didn't even address it or say anything. And it got released at perfect timing. At the time, his older brother Logan Paul was getting a lot of shit for his mistake.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
He went to the suicide forest in Japan, where people would literally go to kill themselves, and he vlogged it, recorded a dead body, and uploaded it to his YouTube channel. Usually the Paul brothers controversies are never this big, but this one got picked up by CNN, Fox, ABC, and a lot of other mainstream news networks. This was the first time one of them got canceled. It had to be the biggest controversy in YouTube history. And this is another reason why Jake is so hated, because people don't really know the difference, so they just lump them together. When one of them does something wrong, it goes on the other one.
How have my mistakes affected your career? And your, it's a big question.
It's a big question.
Yeah.
A lot.
Way I know way more than vice versa. Yeah.
But this Suicide Forest thing just buried Jake Paul saying the N-word, and a lot of people don't know what happened to this day. So the little hate Jake Paul got from saying the N-word was justified. Y'all remember after George Floyd, when the Black Lives Matter protest and looting was going on, Jake Paul was retweeting petitions, reposting videos of police brutality, reposting the black screens on Instagram, just doing anything he can to show his support. But something else that was being talked about was white people trying to hijack Black Lives Matter protests and start riots to make it look like they were violent. This video went viral at the time, and so did this one.
This is not a black woman who's put in Black Lives Matter. I just want you to know that when right, but y'all doing that for us, and we ain't asked you to do that. Listen, don't spray stuff on here when they gonna blame black people for this, and black people didn't do it.
So it wasn't a good time for white people to be doing anything close to illegal in the name of BLM. But Jake was at a restaurant in Scottsdale, Arizona, where he saw a nearby mall getting looted. He went over there to see what was happening, and people were there smashing car windows, breaking store glass, stealing shit, and he posted this on his story.
Bunch of idiots, bro. Literally, I walked right here. I walked right up to there. These idiots tear gassed me. I ain't doing bro. Look at them pointing guns at me right now. Look at, bro, swear to God. Swear, no cap, that's tear gas, bro. They're guys. Rest in peace, George Floyd, fuck y'all.
This was starting to go viral, and people was like, what the fuck is Jake Paul doing at a looting site? Then this video got released of Jake Paul looting.
Oh my God, it's getting crazy.
Now, Jake Paul wasn't actually fucking looting. A looter gave him something, but the story became Jake Paul caught looting. This video was all over social media, and he was trending #1 on Twitter. The story was going even more viral, and he was getting so much shit about it. But then he posted a long statement saying he wasn't looting, he was peacefully protesting, and looting broke out, and he filmed it to share his experience and bring awareness and blah blah blah. Niggas' minds was already made up. Jake Paul was looting. Jake uploaded a video trying to clear it up even more. He says he doesn't even know the person who handed it to him.
To me while I'm filming, just hands me something. I didn't even know what it was at the time. To later find out that someone handed me a bottle of vodka for what reason, I don't know. Seconds later, I set the bottle on the ground, still not even knowing what it is, and I continue to document what's going on.
I'm just here to document it. I'm not doing nothing.
Now this video has since been deleted, but obviously multi-millionaire Jake Paul wasn't looting. But he shouldn't have been around regardless. The story started to die down and that looked like the end. Just Jake Paul being clowned on social media for it. But then the Scottsdale Police Department tweeted out they got hundreds of tips and can confirm it was Jake Paul, and he's gonna be charged with criminal trespassing and unlawful assembly. Jake Paul quote tweeted this saying, "Give me my charges. Let's put the focus back on George Floyd and Black Lives Matter." I feel like the police just needed somebody to make an example out of, and they chose Jake Paul because first of all, he's a huge celebrity, he's not black, and because he's extremely hated. But come on, this nigga Jake Paul gave you all the proof you needed to charge someone else that was actually looting. But is this hate justified or unjustified? Now let's keep it a buck. We all know Jake Paul wasn't looting. He could probably buy that whole store. Yeah, he shouldn't have been there, but what's wrong with documenting it? The only reason he got hate for this is because he's Jake Paul. If a nigga like Mr. Beast was there, he would have never got this much hate. So the hate against Jake Paul in this situation is unjustified. I've consumed an unhealthy amount of Jake Paul, with the dozens of drama alerts, his vlogs, his 8-part documentary, and every interview he's ever done. I went into this trying to make a Jake Paul exposed video, but when I did more research, I realized a lot of these situations aren't just black and white. But if y'all want me to do a video about why his house got raided by FBI, leave a comment. But you don't gotta agree with anything I said in this video. I'm not here to make up your mind for you. But if you disagree with anything I said, feel free to drop a comment. If you like these type of videos, drop a like. If you're new or subscribe. I'm Mo Slides and I'm out.